the first of the month. It's the first of the month. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Welcome to the Ash Cash Show every Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We are rocking. Happy Monday. Here's the deal, right? It's a new month, right? It's a new month. It's a new week. And it's a new time for mindset shifts. That's all it's about. This whole year, oh wait, hold on. See what I'm doing? I don't even got my mic. I'm tripping. Wait, hold on for a second. I'm tripping. I already started talking, and I didn't even have my mic on the other side. So I don't even know if y'all heard me. But good morning. Welcome to another awesome episode of the Ash Cash Show every Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You know what I'm saying? It's the first of the month, new week, new mindset, new time to get it right. And so I appreciate you. Shelly Love on the check-in on Facebook. We got Carmela Mosley on the check-in. Good morning on YouTube. So make sure if you go to ashcashtv.com, you can watch me live on YouTube, on Facebook, on Periscope, on Twitter, on Twitch. And so for my IG folks here, thank you for always rocking with me. For YouTube, thank you for rocking with me. For Facebook, thank you for rocking with me. For Twitter, thank you for rocking with me. The show is getting better and better. More feedback, more people tuning in, more people spreading the word. So I appreciate y'all from the bottom of my heart. Please go to the ashcastshow.com to subscribe to the podcast. If you didn't see or if you didn't subscribe to the podcast, I actually have a special show that, as promised, that I uploaded on Saturday. So my guy MG, the mortgage guy, Matt Garland, he's one of the top mortgage brokers in the country. He has closed over $1 billion worth of loans in his career, 1 billion with a B. And so he actually gave some great perspective on buying, right? Because I know I have my opinion. I still hold true to my opinion in some ways, but my situation is different. But he has his opinion on whether right now is the best time to buy. Like if you're in if you're a first-time home buyer or if you're just looking to buy, he believes that right now is the best time to do it, and he gives his perspective on why he believes that. He kind of opened my eyes to something that I wasn't thinking about, so you got to check out the episode to see it. But go to the ashcastshow.com or wherever you listen to your podcast. So the podcast is available on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, wherever you listen to your podcast. Just look up the Ash Cash Show and you can subscribe. But it's easy if you go to the ashcastshow.com and then you'll be able to see it. All right, let's jump in right into the news. We're going to give you the markets for a year-to-date performance. And so as of the market close Friday, here are the year-to-date performance for the markets. So the NASDAQ is up year-to-date 5.76%. S&P 500 is down year-to-date 5.77%. Dow Jones Industrial Average is down 11.6% year-to-date. We have gold is up 14.67% year-to-date. 10-year treasuries are down negative 125.40 basis points, and then oil is down 42.30% year to date. And so the U.S. market stocks are leaving global equities in the dust, right? As per the Wall Street Journal, the S&P is down 5.8% for the year, while Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index is down 19%, and the stocks Europe is down 16%. So when you think about the global economy, the U.S. stocks are definitely, even though it's down year to date 5.8%, you have to look at the totality of where the other stocks are from a year-to-date perspective. So again, Hong Kong is down 19% year-to-date, and then Europe 600 is down 16%. So that's year to date. Um, Global stocks are rising though, which is signifying to us that investors are shrugging off the U.S.-China tensions, and so Hong Kong stocks are on pace for their best day since March, as investors shrug off the Trump administration's intention to end a special economic and trading relationship with Asian financial hub. There are also signs in the region that China's economy is continuing to recover from the worst of the corona pandemic, though activity elsewhere in Asia remains grim. Hong Kong Hang Seng Index rose more than 3%. It was the first opportunity investors there had to react to U.S. President Donald Trump's announcement last week that that Washington would begin the process of eliminating policies exemptions that give Hong Kong different and special treatment from the mainland China. And so I'm going to jump right into, I guess, the elephant in the room, which is the grief and anger over George Floyd's death, and it sparked protests and demanding change in the week since the video went viral. So protests do continue. So, I mean, there's no way that you could possibly not know what's happening in this country right now due to the assassination of George Floyd. And so protests continued through the weekend over the death of George Floyd. Demonstrations began in Minneapolis, and they spread like wildfire, pun intended, across the U.S. Los Angeles, Atlanta, D.C., Miami, New York City, Chicago is where we saw a lot of crowds. But I don't know if you guys realize this, but throughout the country, there were 75 cities, right? So 75 cities in which there has been protests in. Sunday night, more than 24 cities deployed curfews, and governors activated National Guard troops to keep crowds home. Most protests were peaceful, but many of them took a violent turn. I want to talk about that in a second, but I want to give you some stats. There have been more for about 4,000 people arrested, across the U.S. Tuesday, according to a CNN tally. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz announced the Minnesota Attorney General's office will be taking the lead on Derek Chauvin's, I think that's how his name, case. The officer seen pressing the knee on Floyd's neck. Derek Chauvin, who was initially expected in court on Monday, will make his first appearance on June 8th, which is next week. He's been charged with third-degree murder and second-degree manslaughter. And so I want to talk about that real quick. I don't want to, touch on that and leave it alone. I do think that, when you see the unrest, when you see people protesting, when you see the demand for justice, it is something that is refreshing because more of the same gets you more of the same, which is almost a little bit more of the same, right? So we haven't seen this level of protest since the assassination of Martin Luther King in 1968, meaning cities coming out, protesting, demanding for change, demanding for justice. It was disturbing, though, as I scoured through the internet. There were a couple of things that struck me that I wanted to just talk about briefly, right? Number one, the fact that there were disparities in the way the president described what happened in Minnesota, where armed militia or protesters with rifles came to protest, asking that the country be opened back up. Compared to with these protests, there was the saying about thugs and when the looting starts, the shooting starts. To be fair, because that's the one thing I decided that I want to make sure that I'm doing, is that I'm not just looking at it from one perspective, right? Like, I'm not just being biased about the perspective that I'm looking at. And so what I did was over the weekend, I started to look, and I'm gonna start doing this going forward because I want to be able to give you a full narrative. And so, what I started to do is also look at media outlets or like I follow Candace Owens' page or Breitbart, I think is the name, because what I wanted to do is really kind of get a good perspective from everybody, right? And so I found this interesting because and if you I've never heard of the group Antifa ever, right? Antifa, Antifa, right? I never heard of Antifa, but I had some reports were saying that while President Trump was rehearsing, right, rehearsing while he was saying, thugs or or these are nice people, or whatever. What he was saying was that he was referring to the thugs as the Antifa group, right? And so when I did some research, I realized that Antifa is like anti-fascist, right? So it's a group that's against fascism. That's against, neo-Nazis. That's against racism. And so if you don't know what fascism is a form of dictatorship, right? Where like the government has total control. And so they're against that, right? So they're against fascism. They're against neo-Nazism. They're against racism. And so when he was referring to thugs, and actually, I actually listened to what he said, and I didn't necessarily, now that Antifa part was put in there, I was like, maybe, not saying people are being too critical because I'm not, again, at the end of the day, he is the president of the United States, and so he has to be able to use his words differently, right? But at the same time, I did see video reports of, people who were white or fair-skinned, dressed in all black, like the Omen, right? They were dressed in all black, and they were busting up windows, and they were spray painting stuff. And I even saw a video of a young lady recording them, right? And recording them writing like BLM, Black Lives Matter, and the black woman is like, yo, stop doing that, because they're going to think it's us doing it where we're protesting peacefully, right? I even posted a video of the courthouse, right? People, laying bricks next to the courthouse to incite the riots and looting and things of that nature. And I believe this, right? Because at first I was like, maybe this is a ploy, right? By by the store owners, because I even posted that on my Instagram where I'm like, I saw a video of a store owner. Or not a store owner, but a restaurant completely decimated. I'm talking about, wrecked to the T. I'm talking like insulation was ripped out. And I'm like, yo, that's OD, right? Like, not for no looters and rioters. You know what I'm saying? Like looters and rioters, like they're going to rip insulation out. And then I thought about insurance, right? I thought about, this being a restaurant, and this is allegedly, I don't have facts to back this up, but I thought about like looters and stuff, right? I mean, I thought about insurance, and I said, oh, I know, I mean, I wouldn't do this just because my moral compass is different, right? Morally, it's different. But like, let's say for instance, I had a brick and mortar shop, and business is not doing well because everybody is closed, and like, especially a restaurant, right? Like a restaurant that makes their money from sit down or whatever the case may be. I would think that if I have if I get PPP money and I'm like, yo, I don't know what's gonna happen with this business, whatever, and if I close this down, I lose money, right? If I'm thinking about closing this down, I lose money. And so if people are in the streets rioting or protesting, then I'm just, again, just thinking about it, like, why wouldn't I break my own business or incite looters to do that, rip out insulation so that way the it's beyond repair, And that now when I call my insurance company, they really don't have a leg to stand on as it relates to declining the the claim, because it's obviously things are happening, right? And I'm like, yo, that like that's a win-win, right? Even and I'm saying this even for the business owners that are, that legitimately got their stores wrecked. Let's be honest though. Let's be honest, right? Let's be honest, right? Um, business is doing bad, right? And I'm not in no way making light to it, because I did see some, there's a lot of people that put some hard work into their businesses, so I'm not making um, light of it, right? But at the same time, right? At the same time, I feel like there are scenarios in which this could potentially be a blessing, right? Because you were losing money. Now your business is wrecked. You probably would have closed the business anyway, but now you're able to get a check, right? And so, Hush 2010 says, from the insurance perspective, they may be out of luck if the insurance defines the looting as an act of war and denies his or her claim. I get you, but it is not an act of war. You know what I'm saying? Because it's for protest. There's a big difference, right? So if it was like declaration of war, so I agree 100% that in insurance, there are clauses that say if there's an act of war, right? If there's an act of war, then your insurance claims can be denied. Looting and rioting is not an act of war, from my understanding. I don't know if the laws have changed, but a protest in which your property is damaged is not considered an act of war unless it's deemed. You know what I'm saying? Like it'd be hard. Like if they file the claim and it's denied, you could always there's arbitration, and you could always kind of go back and forth. And so I don't believe that's the case. But either way, I appreciate that. But either way, I feel like that's a possibility. But so when you think about the business owners potentially doing it themselves, that's a possibility. When you think about Antifa, right, inciting, instigating stuff, because at first I thought it was cops. Because as I was watching, I'm like, maybe it's cops. And I do remember there was a somebody outed like an undercover cop for doing it. So think about this, right? So now you got business owners that are potentially using this chaos to their advantage. You have Antifa, who is this group that in a way is fighting for the right things, but I guess there's a way that they're fighting for it that could be misconstrued, right? And I'm not going to give my opinion on violence versus non-violence, because I have an opinion on that, right? I have an opinion on whether violence is good, non-violence is good. I have an opinion on that, but I'll leave that alone because that'll be a whole nother show. But then you have undercover cops who are potentially using, right? Maybe it's not Antifa. Maybe because when I looked up Antifa, I see where how the information and how they dress in all black, they cover their faces with helmets and things of that nature. But that's public knowledge, so you don't necessarily have to be Antifa to do something that seems like Antifa and then still get blamed for it. So either way, all I'm saying is watch your energy. Watch your energy, because on the flip side of it, there was a lot of energy towards black people saying, why you wrecking things, why are you ruining things, this, that, IGA, the N-word stuff, you know what I'm saying? And so, yes, there were a lot of like people who were black, who were, taking advantage of the looting and things of that nature. But all I'm saying is all of us, let's look at every piece of, before we start judging, right? Before you start judging even Trump, right? Because I'll give you something that a friend of mine sent me over the weekend. Fast shout to Kashiba. She sent me this over the weekend. And she says, FYI, because you likely won't hear any of this on the media, and do your research to see this. But in the last week, Donald Trump did the following. One, made vaccines voluntary, not mandatory. Military check purity of distribute vaccines. Number two, defunded the world what's the H? I forgot what the H for organization forever, and wants an investigation into its operations. Three, canceled the Democrats' HR 666 bill, known as the COVID-19 Trace Act. That was the basis of the Bill Gates Diagnosis and Tracking Project, which was also canceled, right? So if y'all know about the HR 666 yeah, thank you, Ty. World Health Organization. You're my brain, right? World Health Organization. But if you do your research on HR 6666, it was like this tracking bill that was presented, and so Trump canceled that. Also, number four, canceled Bill Gates project known as ID 2020. Number five, opened a complaint platform to report censorship on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. It was overrun with complaints. Six, stop the 5G rollout nationwide. Seven, executive order to reopen states. Governors who refuse to reopen will be sued. Eight, an executive order to take over all electric grids, which will include internet servers, broadcasting system, electronic systems. So that's you know what I'm saying? That's you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, wait, hold on. Number nine, declares place of worship essential services. Some mayors are fining people for going to church. And then 10, applauded Australia and 106 countries for insisting on China probe into the spread of coronavirus, despite several threats from China about refusing critical reports. And so I just want to be, I don't want to be one-sided, because that's the reason why I started the show. Is the fact that I want to be double-sided, meaning like I'm listening to what they're saying on the left, on the right, and then I give my opinion. Book of Jill said, you're saying that this is a good thing. I'm saying that it's not all good. No, I'm not saying it's a good thing. Some of it, right? Some of it, I'm like, all right, good, right? But some of it, I'm like, no, it's not good, right? And so what I'm saying is that in order to make a decision, right, on whether something is good or bad, you have to know all the facts. That's all I'm saying. Do not, if you're looking at the right, then the right has an agenda, just like the left has the agenda, right? Like I give you an example. Like, I went to Candace Owens' page, who's somebody who I guess is leaning in towards the left. I don't even understand, left, right, whatever. And she's like very, very extreme. She's very extreme. And then I look at some people who are on the other side, and they are very extreme. But all the things that she's saying ain't wrong, though. And all the people who are saying things on the other side ain't wrong. So all I do, right, pause, eat the meat, throw away the bone. I want what's in the middle, pause. You know what I'm saying? And so, I'm not just like, I want to know, if you go into war, let me right? Hush says right wing, left wing, same bird. I believe that. You know what I'm saying? So not Najij Sterling said the list that you read is not all the facts because of his intent behind most of those. No, I get it. I get it. I get it. I definitely get. I understand that. I just want, and again, I just read. That's why I didn't really give my opinion about it, right? I just wanted to, I just wanted to say, right, my main point of this, and then I'll move on to the rest of the news, so I can open it up for questions. But my main point, my main point of doing this is because I want to make sure that there is there's a balance. That's all. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to make sure that there's a balance between the information that you're getting, right? Don't just get information from one side. And what I was going to say is, and I actually learned this from Russell Simmons a while back, right? Russell Simmons would come on the Bill O'Reilly show. And people would be like, yo, why would you come on the Bill O'Reilly show? Like, that's a racist show. You know what I'm saying? And what I realized was, or what Russell Simmons said was that, I can't just, only focus on what like the Democrats are saying or whatever. Like I want to know, what the people on the other side are saying, because if I don't expose them to my truth and give them a balance, they're gonna believe what everybody else is saying. But then to take it a step further, it's like basketball, right? It's like if you have an opponent that you're playing against, if you never saw them play, then how do you know how to defend yourself against that opponent? How to win, right? How to be on the offensive and the defensive against that opponent, because you don't study their plays. You don't know how they're doing stuff, right? And so at the end of the day, a person like myself, a lot of things that I talk about, like the reason why I always say that economics is the way is because I've done my research, right? Like I've studied America's history from, slavery up until this time. So I know about, the different revolutions and how, what impact they had, or, and how, certain groups were able to get themselves out of poverty and things of that nature. And it was all economic. It was all, power based. You know what I'm saying? And so, you have to be able to look at all sides and then make a conclusion based on, based on what, your mind tells you. So I'll leave that there. I'll go through the other news, and then I will open it up for questions. And so in related news, Nike releases the "Don't Do It" campaign and addresses racism in America. And so Nike released an ad on Friday night imploring viewers not to pretend there's not a problem in America. While protests occurred in cities nationwide following the death in Minnesota of George Floyd after a white officer pressed a knee into the neck while taking him into custody. The simple video shared on Twitter contains lettering that begins, "For once, don't do it. Don't pretend there's not a problem in America. Don't turn your back on racism." It had more than 35,000 retweets and 2 million views as of Saturday morning. And so I want to say something about that, right? I want to say something about that because I believe, and I want to bring this other because there's been other companies that are coming out, right? There's other companies coming out. And so you have companies like Target, right? So Target also has come out to speak against racism. They said that pain is not unique to the Twin Cities. It extends across America. The murder of George Floyd has unleashed the pent-up pain of years and has the killing of Ahmaud Arbery and Breonna Taylor. We say their names and we hold too long lists of others in our hearts, right? Twitter also came out with with some stuff. The NFL, right, released a statement calling for action, but obviously the critics are slamming the NFL, saying that they're the same people that shunned Colin Kaepernick, right, after the protest. You have BlackRock CEO, and then and so Macy's, right, Apple, Nordstrom, right, everyone said something, but did everybody say something because they had to say something? Or did they say something because they truly in their heart believe this? I think it's the former, because I'm not really a fan of people who are reactive. I'm a fan, especially if you're reactive as it relates to your money, right? I'm a fan of people who are proactive. I'm a fan of people who will speak out without it being issues. So I mean, even Nike though, right? Because Nike has said something prior, right? So they helped with Colin Kaepernick, but they also sold a lot of sneakers, right? They also understood who their target demographic is, and Davida V Good says it's marketing 101. Absolutely, right? There's actually a term for it. It's called social marketing. I forget it's a term. There's a term for it where you use what's happening now as a way to make money. You know what I'm saying? And so while I applaud it, I'm not being cynical towards it. I do believe that at the end of the day, these are the same companies that have power and they have money. And so the same money that you could that you're putting in these ads to tell people don't do it is the same money that you could put behind some grassroots organizations that are doing the work, right? Money is power, right? And that's why, again, when you look at these corporations, if you really care and you really want to help, then put your money where your mouth is. Not for the major corporations either, meaning or the major nonprofits, because I get it. But a lot of these major nonprofits have been around for years and no change has happened, right? And so why keep funding, not saying all of them, some of them are still doing good work, but why keep funding nonprofit organizations that, are not doing anything for the community that they serve? So why not fund some grassroots, organizations, right? Why not fund, Hatch 210 says, put the money behind legislation, right? Think about what I said last week. My guy Shabazz Bailey, right, talked about getting life insurance. So I think every single, minority group needs life insurance on their life, right? Every single group needs life insurance on their life. Because imagine if the majority of black lives were insured. The life insurance industry is $1 billion industry. And so now if they start killing black bodies, and because they killed this black body, but this black body was insured for $2 million, imagine what the insurance industry would do. I bet you they'll be lobbying. I bet you. Because you can't discriminate, right? You cannot discriminate, and so I think that there's important. AUE Lock says that there's a lockout date. So I saw T.I. posted that there's a lockout or a blackout date for July 7th, encouraging people not to buy in those companies that day. I'm just curious to know why July 7th. Why not now? Why not start supporting black businesses now? Why not start pulling our money now? And so I'm gonna do more research, and before I kind of wave that flag, because I do understand that it should be organized, it should be planned out, right? Planned, plotted, organized. So I do believe that. But it's June 1st, so we're gonna let y'all rock for a whole month. We're gonna let y'all rock for a whole month and 6 days. And then we go pull our money? Why we just can't pull our money now? Why can't we not spend in these places now? Why can't we show them the economic impact right now? Oh, Juneteenth. Okay, I get it. So. Oh, no, right? So Juneteenth is not. Yeah, Juneteenth is what June 19th, I believe, right, or 18th, right? But yeah, like why not do a Juneteenth? I think that's more significant. Maybe. Once again, shout out J.R. Smith. Yo, Pop, talk to me about that J.R. Smith, man. Talk to me about that, cause I haven't been up on that. So let me know. Shout out to J.R. Smith. Yeah. So yeah, why not Juneteenth? Right, June 19th. Why not? You know what I'm saying? There's more cultural significance to it. So I would love to find out what's up with July 7th. In other news, in related news, CNN's Don Lemon calls out Drake, Diddy, and more celebrities to do more for protesters. So Don Lemon used his platform this weekend to call out Hollywood leaders, musicians, and stars for inaction following nationwide protests over the death of George Floyd in Minneapolis. He said, "What about Hollywood? Strangely quiet," the CNN Tonight host said as he spoke to Reverend William Barber as protests took place in Los Angeles, Washington, D.C., New York, and countless other cities. Lemon noted that stars had tweeted and texted him saying they enjoyed his work on television but had been silent in regards to being active. Lemon's speech was a continuation of his earlier monologue when he called on millionaires, billionaires, civic leaders, and stars to lend their support to the individuals on the ground and protest across the country. Killer Mike, T.I., Rihanna, and others in the hip-hop community have spoken up about Floyd's death and the subsequent protests. J. Cole, and salute to J. Cole, I love J. Cole, salute to J. Cole, was on the ground in Fayetteville, North Carolina, walking and speaking with protesters. Um, in other news, hacktivist group Anonymous, they bugged Chicago police scanners to play NWA's F the Police. So I found that funny. So after announcing their return to social media on Saturday, May 30th, hacktivists group Anonymous set their targets on Minneapolis police for their many crimes in the Chicago Police Department. According to various reports on social media, the group allegedly hacked the radio frequencies of the Chicago PD and played NWA's F the Police for at least 2 minutes. And so Martezia says that they saw Jamie Foxx was out there too. Yeah, salute to Jamie Foxx. I saw Jamie Foxx out there too. I did see that. And so Spoiled Brat says they pick and choose when they want to, right? And then so hit with Paris. Cuzzo says Jay-Z called for justice on behalf of George Floyd. So fast shout to that. Tigress says Drake is Canadian. Diddy started a black news station. Wale was marching. Okay, appreciate that. Right. So because I did see Revolt. Was posting some powerful stuff. Yo, salute to Tamika Mallory. You know what I'm saying? Salute to the Queen. You know what I'm saying? Because I see her. She was talking truth to power. So salute to her. All right, good stuff. In other news, and I'll open it up because we're going a little over. But Trump postponed the G7 summit and seeks to add countries to the invitation list. So President Donald Trump said on Saturday he will postpone a group of 7 summits he had hoped to hold next month until September or later, and expand that list of invitees to include Australia, Russia, South Korea, and India. Speaking to reporters on Air Force One during his return to Washington from Cape Canaveral in Florida, Trump said the G7, which groups the world's most advanced economies, was a very outdated group of countries and in its current format. And then lastly, Kirk Franklin and Fred Hammond, they had a versus battle. Yeah, we must protect the sis Mallory. Absolutely. We have to protect her. Kirk Franklin and Fred Hammond in versus battle. So in light of civil unrest following police killing of unarmed man George Floyd at the hand of Minneapolis police, the creators of versus, right? So we had, Timberland and Swizz Beatz felt that the culture could use some inspiration provided through their growing music platform. And so this versus between 6-time Grammy Award winner Kirk Franklin and gospel super producer Fred Hammond was a celebration, right? And so Sunday, May 31st edition brought 2 GOATs out of gospel to meet up in one place at the home studio to ensure that a seamless worship experience. Bishop, the OG, right? So even Bishop T.D. Jakes opened the celebration with a special prayer for peace, comfort, and justice at this time. And so salute to that verses, well needed. So salute to them. I love verses. I love what they're doing with the platform. And so they had, some surprise guests. Tamala Man, I think it's Tamala. You had Marvin Sapp. Like it was some great moments in there. So salute to them. All right, so that's the news I have for today. I'm gonna open it up for any questions that you guys may have. If you have any questions, if you're watching live on Facebook, if you're watching live on YouTube, if you're watching live on Twitter, Twitch, also on Periscope, you could put your comments down in the comments section. If you are on Instagram, please put your questions in the comment box. So I appreciate everybody on the check-in. Fast shout to Grace. Good morning. My guy Dan Williams. What's up, Dan? What's good? Daniel Williams on the check-in. Nadeed Sterling, good morning on the check-in. Salute. What else? Oh, yeah, so Nick Cannon, right? Salute to Nick Cannon. She Love Money says, I ordered 2 of your books on Friday. Can't wait to get them. I appreciate the support. Thank you so much for everybody who supported. So listen, I posted this on my Instagram as well, but I'm going to do this as well. So my wife wrote this book. It's called I Am Queen Zinga, right? And so this is an awesome book. So this book actually started out as a bedtime story for my son, because what happened was, and there's others, right? So my wife, she writes, but she's also an insurance agent as well, and serial entrepreneur, does a lot of stuff. But one of her true talents, right? She's talented in other stuff, but one of her true talents, I believe, is that she's a dope writer, right? And so she had written this book because what happened was, as she was reading books to my daughter's 12, my son is 4. She's reading books to my daughter, and we were just realizing that, or she realized that a lot of the books were not, conducive, or stories that we wanted to teach our kids. So she started just writing stories, right? So the first, she has Queen Zinga. She wrote the Mansa Musa book that's coming out next. So she was finding people that looked like our kids, and wrote stories about them. And so I need y'all to go to queenzingabook.com. We have 30 copies, and the reason why I want y'all to go to Queen Zinga, you can buy it on Amazon, by all means. It's on Amazon, so you can support by going there as well. But if you go to queenzingabook.com, we have 30 copies of the book. I want to make sure that for the summertime, because we're in Atlanta, so school is out, meaning that even though they didn't go to school physically, there was like school online, but school is out right now, and so because school is out, my daughter is literally on Roblox all day, right? And so if you go to queenzingabook.com, right? So queenzingabook.com, we have 30 copies here in the house, and my daughter's in charge of mailing those copies out. And so I need y'all to go to queenzingabook.com. I want to post today, right? I want to post that these books are sold out. So I need 30 of y'all. No, I think we have some orders, right? And so, we do have some orders, but I need like 30 of y'all, or 20 something of y'all, to go to queenzingabook.com, order a copy. It's on sale. So if you go to Amazon, it's $12.99. If you go to queenzingabook.com, I have it on there for $8.99. So you could go to Amazon, but it's you're gonna pay more. So if you go to that website, queenzingabook.com, then you'll actually get the book for $8.99. But then my daughter will actually be the one sending it out, right? So please support. I want to keep her working, right? I want to keep her working because she's expensive, not playing. I want to keep her working because, like I said, summer is out. I don't want her to be on Roblox all day. So please support that, you know what I'm saying? And so I appreciate y'all on that. All right. Let's see. So, Queen Zinga book. Thank you, Grace, for putting that in the comments. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all for all y'all support. So cool. All right, so I'm opening up for any questions. If we don't have questions, it's cool because we rocking out. All right, so Hush 210 says, what are your thoughts on black churches being black banks with tithes being their deposits? They can loan money to the culture. I agree. I agree with that. I agree that black banks can serve as as banks, but I think that people should stick to what they're good at, right? And so I don't think that a black church should necessarily be the bank, but they can start a bank, right? Pop LV Real Estate says, my daughter said send the Roblox name. Facts to that. But no, the good not to jump off the question real quick, but the funny thing about it is that in Roblox though, I know my daughter's like building like towns and you know what I'm saying? So it's not all bad though. In Roblox, she is, you know what I'm saying? Like she is learning some stuff, you know what I'm saying? So yes, I would say that. But back to that question about churches being banks. I know that there are, for instance, right, a church could actually start a credit union, right? And so what a church could do is if people don't understand what credit unions are, and I love credit unions, right? Because a credit union is for a certain demographic, right? So you have to have, so like if you work for Delta Airlines can open a Delta Airlines credit union, or if you work whatever, right? There's things that you can do. If you have a common group, you could open up a credit union. So if you go to a certain church, there could be a credit union open for that church, and the depositors actually own that credit union, not the people who started the credit union. And the reason why I say a church I don't believe should be a bank is because banking is not just about, like, there's intricacies. As somebody who ran banks, I've done three types of bank. I've done commercial banks, I've done like regional banks, and I've also done a credit union. Like, I've run them, right? And so as somebody who's run a commercial bank, the Chases of the world, the Citibanks, the Bank of Americas, the regional banks, the Carver Federal Savings Banks, and then also, the people, when you think about like credit unions, I also feel like, I know that banking is not one of those things that you could just do, and anybody could do it. Like, you need a board of directors that understand money and lending policies. You need a CEO who knows how to run it and make it profitable, things of that nature, so that way the money's available and it doesn't go bankrupt. So I do agree that churches could do more, black churches specifically could do more with their money. But I also believe that they need the right people doing that. And so I do think that churches should have a credit union. I saw LL and Nori talking about, creating a hip-hop union. They need a credit union as well. I think any organized group needs a credit union. Any group that needs to get organized needs a credit union. So, So what's the dividend credit unions pay? I saw something on that on a statement. So it really depends on the health of the credit union, and so that's what I'm saying, right? You need a board of directors of a credit union to decide whether they pay dividends, whether they distribute that money back to the owners. You know what I'm saying? So like you need a full body, right? You need people who are experienced in that field to kind of make that happen. I didn't talk about that either. So let me just scroll down real quick to make sure that I didn't miss anything. I just found out I'm gonna be fast shout to Angel here. I just found out I'm gonna be a father. Any advice in looking for a job and unsure of what direction to go when it comes to wealth and education? Yo, Angel, salute to you, man. Congratulations. I just found out I'm gonna be a father. Any advice? I'm looking for a job and unsure of what direction to go in. Shoot me an email. info@mindrightmoney.com. Shoot me an email because I have a lot of advice, but I honestly, as a father myself, I honestly say that I would do both. I wouldn't just only look for a job. I would also think about what skills you have right now and how can you start a business. I think right now is the best time to start a business. And so, knowing that you're about to be a father, let's say you have 9 to 6 months, right? Because most of the times, I'm not sure what, at what space, your child is at, whether it's 3 months or, it's happening in 9 months or 8 months or whatever. But I would say do both. I would say definitely, look at both. Look at, still looking for a job, still trying to figure out, what skills that you have. I would start there. Email me because I have I offer some planners. I have this one course called, if you go to the what is it called? thepassiveincomeguide.com. thepassiveincomeguide.com. It gives you 5 ways that you could, increase your income exponentially. And so email me, and I'll give you free access to it. Everybody else, I got to pay for it, but I'm just joking. I'm not joking, but go to thepassiveincomeguide.com, and then there's a course. I'll give you that course. Take a look at that video where I talk about 5 ways to increase your income, and then there's a planner in the back that teaches you how you can become, create your own business. So look into that. So congratulations, Angel. I got like a few minutes there, so I'm gonna try to run through these real quick. My guy Daniel Williams on Facebook says, What's your thoughts on the community divide between Black America and Black LGBTQ folks? Injustice are happening to all Black LGBTQ folks as well, yet we are only seeing rallies across states for cis heteronormative bodies. LGBTQ folks are tired of being on the front lines of the movement, but no equal support for the larger black community. I do. So yeah, definitely a loaded question, Daniel. But it's all good, right? I do believe that injustice for one is injustice for all. And so I do believe that there should be a community, right? There should be collectiveness within the struggles, right? And so I do believe that there should be a movement that includes all black people, right? And not just saying, hey, you're black and you're, how do you say it? Cis heteronormative, right? So like, hey, you're cis heteronormative, and so we're gonna, only focus on you, but then you're part of the LGBTQ community, and so we're not gonna focus on you. I do think that there should be a collective loving of everybody, no matter their sexual orientation, no matter who they are, and I think honestly, that's how our movements have lost power in the past anyway. Right, our movements have lost power because of this divide. Because there's a divide between LGBTQ and cis heteronormative bodies. Right, there's a divide between man and woman, young and old. Like these divides are what is what separate us, right? And so, I believe that. I believe that injustice for one is injustice for all. And so there should be a collectiveness, right? And I think that's actually one of the ways that we could gain back control of our communities by sticking together. And so we need to create a unity. Right, Najee says, how can we create more Black Wall Streets? Tulsa riot anniversary, right? So this is the 99th anniversary of the Tulsa riots that happened in March 31st, 1921, and June 1st through June 1st, 1921, when they bombed it. I think that we create more of them by creating small pockets within our neighborhoods to create them into communities. Right, I think that what's happening is that we have neighborhoods. We don't have communities, right? Because community is about economic and political power as well, and we don't have neither in our neighborhoods. And so we're occupying there. We live there, but we don't have communities, and so we need to begin to start creating communities. Let me scroll up real quick because we're about to get cut off in a second. When the church needs the funds, they ask the people. When the people needs the fund, they tell us to pray to God. I love credit unions too. Best interest rates. Congratulations, Angel. We answered that. What do you think about the spaceship launch of Falcon 9 and the first ever reusable rocket? I don't have an opinion. Let me just say that I think it was dope that a private company was able to successfully go into space. I do think that there should be exploration. There's been a lot of money to do that, and so I'm not 100% sure on the ramifications of it, the necessity of it. Is there a plan to go to space to try to create a new world in space? I don't know, and so I don't really have an opinion. I think it's dope, to have your dreams and your visions come to fruition. But yeah, that's my thoughts on that. Yeah, Angel, info@mindrightmoney.com. Info@mindrightmoney.com. She Love Me, Love Money says create your own income. Yeah, I'm a proponent of creating your own income first, but until you own your own, you can't be free. That's what I believe. Let's see. Fast shout to my guy Martin Baez, St. Nick representative, says the same argument could be made for the disability community. Our civil rights are violated constantly, but yet no one support our movement. Example, in 2020, the New York City transit system is still not ADA compliant, wheelchairs accessible. I agree. Again, I agree. I do think that collectively we need to move in one direction, and then within that collectiveness, we begin to support our sub communities within the larger community. So I agree with that 100%. All right, cool. Let's see. Need to download the book, Build Wealth, please and thank you. Yeah, no, Allison, email me. Allison, clean it for you. Email me. I'll email it to you. You should have got it though. Like once you sign up for the free book on my website, iamashcash.com, you get a free book. I Build Wealth. But once you sign up, the thank you page is a link to a download. Like there's a thank you page that you get. It should be a link to the download, and you should get an email. So, but if you didn't get it, I'll email it to you. That's all good. Martija says, Anna, we have hoods because we barely know or support our neighborhoods. Bella6 says, what do you think about creating the black pages? I don't know what the black pages are, so please enlighten me. Yeah, I don't know what that is. All right, we got 30 seconds. First time viewer. Alyssa, welcome, Alyssa. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate you. So I'm going to have this uploaded. So I got 20 seconds left. Again, thank you so much for tuning in to the Ash Cash Show every Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please go to the ashcashshow.com to subscribe to our podcast. We have an exclusive podcast on there. Please go to ashcashtv.com to join our live. I appreciate y'all. I'll see y'all later.